I've got a classic one here for you today. Let's have a detailed look at the inside of the Winchester Model 12 pump-action shotgun. I had this Winchester Model 12 in the other day for some work, so I took the opportunity to strip it down for a thorough cleaning and inspection. First thing we're going to do, of course, is make absolutely sure it's unloaded and remove all live ammunition from the worksite. I'm going to remove the stock first. The buttstock bolt is under the butt plate, and the butt plate is retained by 2 Phillips head wood screws. The buttstock bolt takes a long, flat screwdriver. Now, I'll separate the fore-end assembly from the receiver. I need to push the magazine locking pin through to the other side so I can rotate the magazine tube, and then pull the action forward and rotate the assembly to remove it from the receiver. I'll set the fore-end assembly aside for now. I'll start the disassembly of the receiver by removing the trigger guard group. The trigger guard group contains the fire control group and is retained by the guard screw. With the guard screw removed, the trigger guard slides out. Next, I remove the cartridge cutoff, if it hasn't fallen out already. It's only held in place by the trigger guard and it comes out with a touch. Next, the ejector, and I have to pop it out with a small screwdriver. The breech bolt is held in place by the breech bolt retaining lever. It's a bit hard to see, so let me show you what part I moved with the bolt outside the receiver. I pressed on the back end of the retaining lever so that it's flush with the bolt. With the retaining lever unlocked, the breech bolt will slide out. On the fore-end group, we have the magazine plug, the action slide handle, the action bar, and the barrel. I'll start by removing the magazine plug. The magazine plug is held in place with 2 small screws and the locking pin. With the screws removed, the locking pin is removed by compressing its spring latch. I'm careful to press on the magazine cap because it retains the magazine spring. Here you can see how the spring catch works. Underneath the magazine plug is the magazine plug stop. I'm careful to note the orientation of the magazine plug stop because there's a front and a back to it. On this one, the gauge is stamped on the side that faces back. Correct orientation is critical for reassembly. To remove the barrel, I have to remove the magazine band, which is held on with 2 screws. With the screws removed, I lift up on the barrel just a little bit and slide it back. I had to lift up on it to disengage a lug on the back of the barrel. I have to pull the action handle back to release the magazine band, and the band just slides off. Underneath the band is the action handle retaining spring. Note how it bows up in the middle and has cutouts on the front end. These cutouts fit into the magazine band bushing. It was this bushing that engaged the barrel lug to hold the barrel in place. I also note the back of the band is marked for orientation. Reassembly is pretty much the reverse. I insert the magazine follower, then assemble, orient, and slide the magazine band on the magazine. There is a left and right side to the magazine tube. This lug in the magazine tube has to be on the left side during assembly. So I use the same trick to lift the barrel lug into place and install the magazine band. Once the magazine band is secured, I spend a little time orienting the magazine plug with the holes in the magazine tube. This makes it much easier to reinsert the locking pin. To reinsert the locking pin, I have to depress that spring again. The locking pin will hold the cap in place while I pick up the screws. Note, the screws fit into the recesses in the magazine tube, so they're almost flush. I have to keep pressure on the magazine plug so the screws line up with the recesses. The receiver assembly parts consist of the receiver, the ejector, the breech bolt, the cartridge cutoff, the trigger guard group, and the guard screw. It's best to show how the ejector fits before I start because it's hard to see during the assembly process. There's a round end on the ejector, and it fits into the receiver just here. When fitted, the spring will be against the receiver wall. But first I have to insert the breech bolt. The ejector is a bit tricky to install. I have to line it up with the slot, then compress the spring and slide it under the bolt until I compress the round end into the cutout on the receiver. Here I'm pressing it to flatten the spring with my right hand and pushing it to slide it under the bolt with my left hand. When it's installed correctly, it looks like this. At about this point, the breech bolt retaining lever has to be flipped to lock the breech bolt into place. This is the locked position here. The cartridge cutoff has a round protrusion that fits into a cutout in the receiver on the left wall. When installed correctly, it should seesaw like this. The trigger guard slides in from the back and is retained by the guard screw. Now I can reattach the stock and the butt plate. Before I start on the fore end, you may have noticed this small screw at the receiver end of the barrel. I'm not going to touch that. That's the barrel gap adjustment, and that's a whole nother video. I'm putting a little anti-seize on these threads because you never know how long it's going to be until the next cleaning. And then reattaching the barrel. pulling the action back to insert the action bar in the receiver, and then rotate and lock the magazine tube. Note there is a lock alignment arrow on the bottom of the magazine tube. Alright, a quick function check, and that's about all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm Jim Humphrey with Imminent Threat Defense Firearms Training. Enjoy your firearms, be safe out there. Thanks.